Kelsey stuffed the stat sheet, but it looks like Rashee Rice is out indefinitely. Latest tough injury in Kansas City. Hollywood Brown hasn't played. Pacheco's is recovering from a broken leg. Super Bowl odds, however.
I wonder how. Oh, silver favorites.
Chiefs still number one. San Francisco, Baltimore, Bills,
Because they don't
and then
lose.
the Lions. Should KC, or does KC deserve to be the favorites?
Okay, so the answer is obviously yes. And fair warning to my compatriots here.
Oh.
Anyone that says no has to give the team that should be. Because it's not Kansas City versus the field. It's because they're not the favorites versus the field. You know what I mean? The field is by those odds minus 500. It is any individual team. And the reason they should still be the Super Bowl favorites is if I were to tell you right now, here's how you beat the Chiefs, or how do you beat the Chiefs, what's the answer? Because as the broadcast explained yesterday, you get up 10-0 on them, you lose every time. And now they were saying 11-0, 12-0.
Yeah.
We checked the numbers. It's actually 8-0, it would appear. But they were very adamant it was 11-0. But I trust Josh over that entire network. So I think it's 8-0 when they're down exactly 10. And even just double-digit leads, we can show it to you. It's arguably the three greatest quarterbacks ever who have the best record. But Montana, who was unbelievable at it, won 37% of the games. Brady, who was better at it, won 37.8% of his games. Mahomes is a playoff team when trailing, is a playoff quarterback when trailing by double digits. And so is the answer force Mahomes into a bad game? Well, it's got to be a really bad game. Because ever since the Chiefs got a legitimate defense, as long as Mahomes isn't dreadful, they're undefeated. An 80 or higher passer rate.
Not that good.
80 is not good.
It's a nutty stat.
25-0. So you need Mahomes to be awful. For them to. So the Bengals game, which I said was maybe the worst game of his career, threw 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a passer rating higher than 80. It was 80.6. So here's my answer. Here's how you beat the Chiefs. Your best chance. Be trailing by 4, 5, or 6 points with the ball with 4-ish minutes left. That's your best chance. Nice. Be trailing by less than a touchdown where you can score with no time left. Any other scenario, you're in really rough shape. So, yes, obviously they should still be the favorites.
Yeah, the good news for Kansas City is that they found a way to win close games. And going into the Chargers game, I think it was a 9-game streak.
Yeah, now it's 10.
And they'd won by a margin of 54 points, which is
one of the
smallest.
And it's the smallest ever for a 10
so it's a razor thin margin. You lose Rice, and Rice with 24 receptions. He has as many receptions as both Kelsey and Worthy combined, about 29% of the team's receptions. So when you take away that production, and it's a razor thin margin, you're going to have to keep trying to find ways to win and generate ways to win. And as long as they have Mahomes, they're going to continue to be the favorite. But it's hard to imagine that this is sustainable.
Yeah, look, obviously I got Baltimore, but the Chiefs should be the favorite, clearly. Like, they're one of the, 3 undefeated teams left in the league. They've had, I would say, the toughest schedule. If you want to argue Minnesota, that's fair, but a tough schedule. Their defense is like allowing 18 points a game. That's top 10 in the league. And that, again, is against some of the better teams in the league. And I think a challenge, and as great as Baltimore looks, they're going to have to prove they can beat Kansas City. The Chiefs clearly, and I think this is playing a role in their win streak, they live rent-free in everybody's minds.
Oh, yeah.
They really do. Like, Cincinnati,
video,
you can't tell me if Cincinnati's playing them and outplaying them, as I thought they did in the last game.
This is how quarterbacks react to playing the Chiefs. It's 3 out of 4. Kirk Cousins, the only one who kept his cool.
No, that's the thing. Like, if you're Cincinnati, you might be leading late, but you're going to be wondering, can we really win this game? Baltimore obviously has lost the last 2 big games against Kansas City, and they were, I think, the better team last year. And the way they look now, maybe they'll be the better team this year, but you got to beat them. And I think that mental thing is a factor where teams really wonder, can we get it done?
Coach, is there something, there's a hard to put a stat to this, or even a highlight to it, but there was a chance for Mahomes to seal the game. Was it 3rd and 6?
Yeah.
And I was like, of course he's going to get this. And it's like, it's not the wow plays that is causing him to win. It's just like, oh, do we need it now? I'll deliver. Oh, Chris Jones, we need to stop now to get the ball back. Chris Jones will deliver. So it's almost like this just like quiet excellence that doesn't show up on the highlight reels.
Yeah, you can, and this was the experience in New England, is you go to the sideline and you're in a close game and there's no panic because you've won those close games over and over again. And it's not a question of can we do it, it's just how are we going to do it? Who's going to be the guy that steps up to make the play? And that confidence is very powerful in sports, and we see it all the time with momentum where it swings one way or another way that aren't as confident. And with Kansas City right now, there's just the expectation that regardless of what comes up or what hurdle there is, they're going to figure out a way to win. And then the opponent is sitting on the other sideline thinking, hey, they're probably going to figure out a way to win. And you got to get past that block if you're going to beat them.
And two things quickly. One is, and once again, facing the Chiefs forces the opposing coach to do things he wouldn't normally do. When Jim Harbaugh kicks field goals, he loves field goals. Brew, it's what, you know what I mean? He wants the points.
Kicked the field goal.
But you're playing Mahomes, even though it's 10-10. Mahomes has thrown a pick in every game this year. Rice is out. Kelsey is on watch done. We got to get a touchdown. But the other thing is, Wilds, that exact play they ran to ice the game to Xavier Worthy. They ran that exact play just the other side of the field against the Falcons. It was incomplete. It was, and Worthy, they didn't know if it was Worthy ran the wrong route, whatever it is. And what happened? Nick Bolton stepped up and stopped the Falcons. The difference between this Chiefs team and the Chiefs team from 5 years ago is the times Mahomes doesn't come through, he has a 3-level great defense behind him to pick him up. And so that's why they are so hard to beat is when Mahomes is off, and he's been off in my mind the 3 games other than the Ravens game. Like, I don't think he's played great in any of those games, but he has.
And a lot last year.
Right, say it again?
And a lot last year.
And a lot of last year where he didn't play great. He was dealing with the wide receiver issues, all of it, and those wide receiver issues, if Rice is out for the year, are back for this season potentially. They have built, in the midst of a dynasty, they've built a defense. And so, yeah, I mean, they're going to be hard to beat, which is why they've won 10 in a row.
Quickly, you're going to say no. I'm going to ask Coach instead. Are you worried at all about
I'm going to say.
Are you worried about the interceptions? Was throws an interception every single game? Is it like right there at the top of league leaders on interceptions?
Yeah, as much as Nick says they're invincible, you're winning by very small margins. You just lost another offensive weapon.
So name the team, Coach.
Hold on. It's not a question of who should have the odds. It's a function of how much can you sustain when you're constantly losing quality players that contribute.
Part I agree with.
And I understand you feel like they're superheroes, but there just comes a tipping point.
Look,
may be getting
I have to respond to that. I don't think they're god dog superheroes.
Yeah.
I do think they're the 2-time defending champs who haven't lost since Christmas Day. Think about the last morning, the look on your kids' faces, and how excited they were and how long ago that feels. That's the last time they lost. Right, exactly, Coach.
Yeah.
So there is a sense of invincibility, not a sense of supernaturalism.
But from being in that room, there's also a sense of reality too, and someone else does have to fill the void that Rice was producing.
Yeah.
Who is that?
Well,
Who is that?
Kelsey's going to have to step up, and Xavier Worthy's going to have to be more than just a big play guy.
Last year, when everyone said the Chiefs wide receiver team stunk, I said, I actually think Rashee Rice is better than you guys think. And everybody said, you're waving the pom-poms for the Chiefs. Now, he's out, and the loss is unrecoverable.
He took a step
No,
up.
we're not saying that. It's just his production has been as high as the next 2 guys. So it's not saying it's.
Oh, listen, they're without their top 2 receivers, their number 1 running back, their left tackle got benched, and they have
Hollywood
the oldest.
Brown never played a snap.
No, the guy who was supposed to be, but he was supposed to be their number 2 receiver. Rice was supposed to be their number 1. Left tackle got benched. Isaiah Pacheco broke his leg, and people are worried about Travis Kelce. And I don't know. The wise guys in Vegas still say they'll probably win the Super Bowl. I don't think that's mysticism. I think it's the best team in the league.
Ravens run wild. Derrick Henry. The Bengals got back on the winning track by beating the Woeful Panthers 34-24. They are now 1-3. Joe Burrow, solid. Defense?